it's not anything to do with man. It's all through God. I remember the first time when I got the call, even before I'd come from work, doing my own routine, and I was on the phone, and my son came through the door because I was speaking to his sister. I said, Nick, I'm talking to your sister, his favorite sister. And I gave him the phone that same Wednesday evening. I gave him the phone, and he was speaking to his sister. He went into his room. Then I took back the phone from him because I said I want to finish my conversation. And then I went into my room, still on the phone, talking to my daughter. And before, he was saying, I heard the key going into the door. And I was saying, Mom, we're in football. I didn't think anything of it because that's his normal routine, to go to football, same place on the estate. And meanwhile, I'm still on the phone, I heard a knocking on my door. I didn't answer it because I wasn't expecting anybody. And so I was still talking to my daughter on the phone. Soon after, I heard a banging, full banging on the door. And I was wondering to myself, who on earth could be banging down my door like that? And then I heard somebody, Mommy, auntie. So and then I heard my son's name, Nick. So I opened the door and they were saying, Nick gets stabbed. So I don't know where the phone went. I was in my night clothes. My head was all over the place. Looking at it now, I can't even remember what happened. I think I may have pulled up a skirt or something, run with my night clothes on and the slippers, and then I believe the slippers couldn't carry me. I had to chuck them off, running on the road, running down the pitch rather, barefooted. And I don't even know how I reached, but when I approached the pitch, I saw a crowd. And then when I went in there, I saw my son on the ground. And I saw police. And I remember seeing somebody trying to resuscitate. I'm not even sure what that was, what they were doing, what it looked like. It would appear like that to me. And as I was going, because all in my mind, I wanted to touch him, to hold him, and to say, Nick, Mommy's here. And the police said to me, it is a crime scene. When they said it was a crime scene, I didn't know what to do, because I felt like a hole in my body. It is very upsetting, not just for me, but also for my other 3 children. I know that my youngest daughter was very close to him, so it triggers so many emotions. And that is why I feel compelled that I need to do this. Because nobody at all should go through this. And that is why people has got to be very mindful. Even when I look at the same night, when I see my child there and I couldn't touch him, that has still left a void. Maybe if I was able to touch him and to say that I'm here, that would have been something. But the most comforting part of it is the Friday and Saturday. Friday, I was able to pray. The Saturday, I was able to give him some good words. I remember before I went to church on the Saturday morning, I was able to say that Nick, God's love you, that God love you, and whatever position you find yourself in, just call on the Lord Jesus Christ. So that is comforting. It has been an uphill battle at times, but thank God, through His grace, that has been keeping us. We try to take it one day at a time. The young man in question who did it, he was under the NHS trust. He had a group of people. He had a group of agencies that were looking after his welfare, and yet still there was a crack in the system. I felt really hurt when I had to go to different meetings, and I see how the perpetrator, the system, make sure that they look after him, and I keep asking myself the question, who look after the victim and their families? I don't see any support. Where counseling is concerned, I had to go through my GP. We had a long, what was it now? They had like a long several meetings with a couple of NHS people, and talking about what could have been in place and questions asked and all of that. I just, what was all of that for? Because We are the victims and we are still here. And nobody, they have not even put something in place on the estate where the people who witness it to get some support. Nothing at all has been put on the estate for people to get any support. Any support that I get, I have to seek it for my own self. And once you have like the court is over, you have like the police liaison officer, they are gone. And the people who you see at the initial stage, they are gone. You're only left like with a few people who continues to keep in touch. Very few. We are the agencies out there that who should have been monitoring this young man. He didn't want to take his medication, so he went to the tribunal. And before you know it, he was off medication, as they said. And he come in on the estate and kill my son. For what? Foolishness, rubbish, nonsense. And then in the court he was given sentence, but then he's removed to a psychiatric unit, whatever they may call it. Who asked how we are getting on? I wanted to see him to say, how are you? Why did you do it? He can't have any visit because he's unwell. He has so many agencies in his own, for his interests, for his well-being, who look after us. Who is there to see how we are getting on? This epidemic is become of such like the norm, and I don't see anything that is actually being put in place. Yes, you give fundings. What the funding's meant to do? When the funding is done, what is going to happen? There needs to be a secure place where young people can go. They can learn skills. They can socialize. I just, sometimes I'm just fed up, because it seems like I'm fighting a battle that you're up against a whole army of people that have got the power and the authority, but they're not doing enough, or they're not putting the right things in place to help families or the victims. I would just like to say to people out there that there needs to be some kind of youth service, agencies working together for the betterment of the young people, for the betterment of the community. Not only that, but working with parents as well. Sometimes parents are frustrated over so many different things, and so it becomes a disruption in the home, and sometimes young people are misguided and they just need that extra help. So it needs a body of people or different agencies coming together, how we can find the right solutions without actually, whether they are in mental health, then there needs to be something in place, that they are in a community, that they are being properly looked after, that even if they are out, they are properly being monitored. Because if this young man was being monitored properly, this incident would not have happened. And you have agencies shifting the blame, shifting, and leave you the victim, or the victim's family, to work out, when they are the ones that need to have the proper guidance, or the proper things in place to help these young people, whether it's mental health, even in prison. Give them something tangible that they can hold on to, that they can make their own, rather than send them to prison, because when they go to prison, some of them come out worse.
Hi everyone, my name is Boshando Blackwood Miller, otherwise known as Shandy. I am the second to last child of my mom, and Nicholas Stewart, my brother, and I were very close. I never knew I'd find myself in this position where I would lose a sibling due to violence. And as a mother stated earlier, that she was on the phone with me, and I myself spoke to Nicholas on the day of his passing. I didn't even get off the phone when I heard the door being knocked, and from the sound of it, I knew it was nothing good. When I heard through the phone that when my mother said that this about Nicholas, I didn't hear anything more. I was there in Jamaica, and it wasn't easy for me. The journey, it has been 5 years now and a couple of months, and it is still not easy. Just last night was the end of my counseling sessions. I was going through counseling because I was depressed and I was not coping well with his passing. I am still not coping. It is not easy for me to sit here and even trying to speak about him. But if it can help one young person, it is worth it. I would like to say to young men or boys or young girls who are going around and just taking people's lives, it is not good. We have to learn to walk away from trouble if we can. And in Jamaica we have a saying, if me did know. In other words, if I know now what I know then, I wouldn't have done it. Because we don't know what repercussions will happen because of our actions. Sometimes it's just best to walk away. If a situation occurs and you're angry, count to 10. And if you count to 10 and you're still angry, count to 20 and walk away. Because when you take somebody's life, you're not just taking the person's life, but you're ripping families apart. You're ripping your family apart. you're ripping your family apart as well. And you might think you might get away with your crime, but there's always an unseen eye. And what don't haunt you today, it can haunt you tomorrow. And from my brother's passing, my life has changed dramatically. I don't have that confidence anymore. I don't really go out that much. I just go to church, and I might do a little bit of shopping. I'm talking back home. When I'm back home, I just church, home, and I might do a little bit of shopping. I don't really socialize well anymore. My self-esteem is not there. My energy level is not there. And I'm just basically to myself most of the times. And even where the incident happened, even it's just down by close to us. Since I've returned from Jamaica in late August, I've never gone to the pitch, and I just can't go down there. I just can't go down there. But I just want to implore young people or young persons to just walk away from violence. Walk away from, choose your company. You might think somebody's a friend, but that very friend might just turn their backs on you. Know your friend, watch the company you keep. And if what I'm saying now touch one person or change one person's life, it's well worth it. God bless.
So I just want to thank you again for watching and listening. I hope that this will kind of give an insight to what I have been experiencing. This is not really all of it, but just to give you some kind of insight. And as we go from your home to out into the community, wherever you go, that you might remember one family that has been through this tragedy, and then you can understand that it is not easy, but just give a kind word to somebody out there. God bless you.
My sister said in regards to young people needing to hear from young people, whereas I agree with that, because they do need to relate to somebody who understands their language and they're able to communicate with them. I also believe that an older person is required as well, because with age comes wisdom. And so therefore, you've also got a life experience that you can then impart into these younger people as well. So I think whereas it's important that they're able to relate to somebody that understands what they're going through,